All right, so welcome. My name is Dawn Bennett with Touch Remedies, and I'm here today with Elda, the founder of Compassionate Truth. And we're having a conversation today about touch and physical contact and what that looks like for people and different people's experiences before COVID, during COVID, and now what to expect as we all reintegrate into society. So thank you, Elda, so much for being here with me. And so to start, just tell me a little bit about the type of physical contact that you enjoyed and that really nourished you before we went into quarantine. And then how was it for you to shift once you went in that quarantine period? What were your challenges? What was really positive for you? What was really challenging for you in regards to physical contact?
Okay. Well, to start off with, I want to share that my love language, one of my top love languages is touch. So I really appreciate hugs. I'm actually known. People that know me always say that I give the best hugs because I like, yeah, I'm really get into the hug. One thing that I learned over time before COVID was I learned to ask people if it was okay because uh, she's one of my dearest friends right now. But back when we first knew each other, I was working with a lady and she actually shared with me that she was uncomfortable with the hugs when I would see her at work. And she explained to me because she was from Norway that wasn't a custom. And I felt so bad. I was like, oh my goodness. I explained to her that when I hugged her, it was because that was my way of letting her know that I loved her. But I became very aware of that once she said that. So I've learned to ask people first, are they comfortable with it? And one thing I appreciated from attending one of your presentations is actually I was asking them, can I give you a hug? And what I learned from you is to ask them, would you like a hug? Because it's more about them, not me. So that was a huge awareness for me. So COVID really affected me deeply because living alone, and not going out, there was nobody there. And also, I have a side business where I pet sit. So even when I wasn't around people, at least I had kitties or doggies to cuddle with. And I lost that during the whole time. So it was quite an interesting experience for me to be isolated from one of my top ways that I want to feel loved is by touch.
Are there any tools that you found that were helpful for you to self-nourish and to not necessarily replace, but kind of soothe that need for touch?
Oh, it's interesting that you asked that question because another thing I learned from attending one of your presentations is that I can do something like that. So one habit, I'm like so surprised you asked that question because I've forgotten that I did this. Ever since I heard that from you, I make a conscious effort of every day when I get out of the shower. I've always put lotion on because I had dry skin, but now I really am in the moment. And when I'm putting it on my legs or my feet, I didn't used to put lotion on my feet. And now I do because of that touch aspect. So I look at my feet and I really am in the moment of feeling like kind of like I'm massaging my feet. Not really, but, and it's made a huge difference. So I thank you for that because I wasn't even aware of, I was thinking hugs and all that. And here I was able to, as you said, self-soothe, I guess. Yeah.
Lovely. I'm so glad. So I don't know if you've actually started going out and interacting with people yet, but how do you anticipate doing that for yourself? And because some people are not even going to want to give handshakes and not, so there's a conversation that may have to be had with different people. So is there anything that you're nervous about or excited for or ways that you want to communicate with people?
I think one of the things the most nervous about is going to like a networking meeting where my first inclination is to give someone a hug, especially someone I know. I wouldn't do that to someone that I didn't know, but someone I've known. And now I think about how I have to have that conversation, either before I see them there or when I see them in person. Um, I've only been out, and this has been months now that we've been in shelter in place. Just this last week, I went out, and it was that uncomfortable, like, is she expecting a hug? Because I wanted to, but then I didn't, we didn't discuss it. I hadn't thought about discussing it. And then I just, I think I actually said, can I just give you a hug? And I held on so tight because it'd been so long. And I was like, oh my goodness, you know. And then she said afterwards, she's like, you're the only person that I've hugged since all of this happened, except my family members, her partner and the kids. And I was like, all of a sudden I felt guilty because I was like, well, does that mean that I shouldn't have? So now I have like this hesitation when I go out, because it used to be something that was just natural. It's not like you say, oh, well, like when you meet somebody and you give them a handshake, you don't discuss it. It's just a natural way of being. And so that whole thing has me a little bit nervous because I want to be respectful of the people that are not ready yet because they have the fear of, their own fears.
Mhm. Absolutely. Lovely. So it sounds like you're ready, though. You're ready to go out and start interacting and touching people and giving hugs and
I am really ready. Yeah.
lovely.
And ready for, just yesterday I had someone reach out to me for pet sitting because all of my pet sitting clients canceled. Obviously their plans were canceled. But somebody reached out to me yesterday and said, we're planning, since we can't go abroad, we're planning a camping trip. And she said, are you ready? Are you okay for going out to pet sitting? And I was like, yes, I'm ready. I want to cuddle with your pets.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm ready.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Is there any recommendations or advice that you would give people, like if they are not ready to touch, that maybe things that they could say if you forget in that moment and want to kind of go in for a hug? Are there any suggestions of ways that you would feel like people could gently tell you, I'm not quite ready yet, that you could hear?
That's a really good question. You know what I think would be helpful is, rather than waiting for the moment that we meet, um, instead of that, asking when you're setting up, you're going to go walking or you're going to meet for coffee, when you're setting up the connection date, to actually, if that person is a hugger, just say, hey, I'm looking forward to having coffee with you. And by the way, um, I haven't gotten to where I'm still at the place where I want to keep my distance. And just so it's not so awkward when we actually meet. I hadn't thought of that before, but yeah, because I think it would be, I don't know, I guess it takes both of us. I probably need to be better about asking, is it okay if I give you a hug? But it's something that it just seems weird that it seems so contrived. And that's what I like about the way I'm used to experiencing touch, is that it's not contrived. It's just natural, you know? So,
Lovely. Any other thoughts that you have around physical contact as we come back into the world here?
um, I think the only thing that I'd like to add is just to remember to give each other grace, whether you're someone that doesn't like to be touched. Try to give the other person grace and understand where they're coming from, with still being respectful of your own boundaries. And then also, if you're someone that likes to hug, or really likes that touch, give that other person grace if they like feel startled or whatever, not to take it personally, because this is, all of this is an unprecedented world we're living in. So just to give each other grace.
Beautiful advice. I love it. Thank you so much, Elda. I appreciate it. And once again,
Thank you. My pleasure.
passionate truth.